there's only 4 here, and it needs 3 affirmative votes to pass. A 2-to-2 vote on the vote I'm taking now will defeat the redevelopment ordinance. I just want Mr. Galais to be clear on that, because he says he'd like to see the project. Yes or no?
Well, I voted. I
voted no.
thought we can't bring it back.
You'd have to start it all over again.
Well, I don't Well, I did vote. I know.
No, he voted no. He voted no.
I understand what I did. I know what I
He
did.
voted no.
on the guy to get him
vote no.
to change his vote. You want to vote again?
Go ahead, call it. Call it. Call
I
it.
want to see
Call it.
redevelopment
Call
in
it.
the
He
area.
voted.
I do want to see that, so I don't want to,
All right, either one.
if it says no to close the whole thing down, that's wrong too.
Gary, tell him he voted.
Mr. Galais, here's the issue. If your vote, the question is, are you in favor of moving forward with this project? It's yes or no. The vote was to table. The table vote is off the is no longer being considered. This is the actual vote. The table vote was defeated.
voted down.
So now, that was voted down. So now this is the question of whether or not we're going forward with the project so it can move forward. And Mr.
Now, let me clear up one thing. He said no. However, a member of a governing body can change their vote at any time up to the point that the final vote is taken and the clerk says so ordered. That's fundamental, I'm sorry, but that's fundamental municipal parliamentary law. If he wants to, I just want to make sure he knows what he's doing, and he gets it the way he wants it.
Quiet. All right, excuse me. Quiet. Quiet. He's not. He was...
I'm not trying to change his vote. I'm trying to make sure he votes the way he wants. What?
It was pretty clear that he said no, but what his next words were, he wanted this to go through. So what he said, that's what he said.
In lieu of the confusion. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
That's ridiculous.
In lieu of the confusion. In lieu of the confusion. I understand the confusion was because he said no. Mr. Sloan was not trying to change. If you just let me finish, you'll probably be happy with the outcome. Since Mr. Galais, then after he voted no, his comment kind of said he was for it. He was just asking for a clarification. So in light of the confusion here, I would like to make a motion to clarify, to table the issue. They don't have to listen. I'd like to make a motion to table the issue so we can clarify the confusion that's been going on up here.
Table the ordinance to the next meeting? I'm sorry, I'm asking her, not you.
I'm second it?
Wait a minute.
I made a motion to table it to the next meeting.
Okay,
to next
thanks.
month's meeting.
How can you do this?
Second on that?
Second.
By Mr. Cotter. On the new motion to table the ordinance for another meeting, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Yes.
Mr. La Palusa.
I just want to say one thing. I've reserved speaking a real lot this whole time. I have a statement I want to make, so I'll vote on this, but I want to read my statement after this. And of course, I'm for.
Read it now. You're not going to get the speaker.
All right. I want to clarify before I even vote for this tabling. There's several past mistakes that have been made in planning. How many times you go up a residential block and right in the middle you see an apartment building? I was with a friend of mine, and that friend said to me, somebody should have been shot before they allowed that apartment building there. Sometimes things don't fit in a neighborhood. I've been asked to let my constituents know when there's a meeting. I know probably about 90% of the room tonight. So somebody came up and said, I put something on my Facebook. I did. I erred because they weren't actually allowed to voice their opinion. But things have been fast-tracked, and they've gone against the traditional way that things were done. I want to say something else about what people said about Broadway being dead. There are sections of Broadway that are very vibrant. There are sections that are dead. That's because our Broadway is 50 blocks long. Not necessarily only because people aren't shopping. Yeah, it is a decline in shopping. But maybe Broadway shopping district shouldn't be considered 50 blocks. Also, other builders have found a way to make money by staying within the master plan on Broadway. I tried very hard. I spoke to just about everybody you could possibly speak of. I know I spoke to the business administrator several times. I spoke to my colleagues. I spoke to the mayor probably 4 or 5 times. I spoke to the developer several times. He sent me a lot of the pictures that are there. They're artist renderings, okay? I tried to even do a compromise. I know the people that I spoke to from my neighborhood, they didn't want a 120-foot building. So I went to the developer and I asked him, would you do something maybe that goes a little higher than what the master plan allows, but yet not as high as 120 feet? He said he would work on it and get back to me, but I didn't hear from him. So I would imagine after tonight's comment that he wouldn't build it unless it was 120 feet, that's his answer. So I've tried very hard to do a lot of different things on this to try and make the most amount of people happy. I knew it was going to be impossible to make everybody happy. So I have several issues with this proposed development plan. The only way that this development plan can proceed is if there are exceptions made to the current laws. There's limitations on height for good reason. The redevelopment plan will allow a 120-foot building. I don't believe this fits in our neighborhood of 1 and 2 family homes. The plan... The plan would allow a developer to build without providing the proper amount of open space. The exception being made here is that this builder wants to include the open space of the adjacent park, another exception. There's a municipal code that makes builders provide open space so that light and air is not taken away from the neighborhood, from the homes. What about even the light and air being taken away from the park for the people to enjoy? There's also talk of a parking garage allowing almost 150 cars. Another exception, because by having a redevelopment plan that the city council votes on, the developer did not have to put exact plans in at the planning board. We don't know what his design is. We don't know what the blueprints are. I have the same artist renderings there. If something goes beyond the legal limit, you might have to go not just planning, but zoning also. So this is not being done the traditional way. This is definitely not being done the traditional way. Where's the traffic study? I heard there was a traffic study done. I didn't get that in the redevelopment plan of how many cars make so many turns on the Broadway and everything like I normally get on the planning board. How many cars are going to go in and out of that driveway on 46th Street? I can't tell you because they didn't do it the traditional way and I don't have that information. I agree with most of the people in this room. We need new development, but we want responsible development. Development that keeps the integrity of a neighborhood. A neighborhood is something very important. I keep hearing about development and density like Hoboken and Jersey City. I don't want Bayonne to be like those cities. Bayonne is a unique town that doesn't need Broadway skyscrapers. So many of you have emailed me, you texted me, you phoned me, I saw you in person. I want to thank everybody who came out and took an interest in this. I will let everybody know when the planning board meeting is. I will let you know anything else I can about this project, because you came to me and you asked me to let you know. And that's the reason why I post things on Facebook, and I let the people know when the meetings are. Because I'm trying to be the best councilman that I can be In all my years as an elected official, I've never seen such a one-sided stance against something like this project. As a servant of the people of the Third Ward, I represent you. If we had the vote tonight, I would vote no. And I'm voting yes to table this.
Okay, thank you.
Your vote has been ignored.
And President Nadrowski.
I'd just like to say, I also want Bayonne to stay Bayonne, but Bayonne does need, Bayonne as it is today is not Bayonne what it was. It is not vibrant. It is not thriving. It is slowly going downhill. So we do need responsible development, and we do need development. And that's what, people say that Greta got up here and said she supported this administration when we ran because we said we were for change and we were going to make a difference, and we are. This is part of the change. Changing is changing things. Maybe not the height but the change, we have to change. We have to be willing to change to move forward. You can't not change because that's standing still. So I agree with tabling it, so I vote yes for tabling it.
Thank you. So the ordinance is tabled until the meeting of August 19th at 7 p.m. 02, an ordinance entitled, Ordinance of the City...
Want to take a break so that people
Want to
can...
move to recess? All right, at 11:20, wow. The chairman, the council president moves to take a recess. Is there a second?
Second to recess? Can you second?
Thank you. On the
Second.
motion to recess, Mr. Cotter, Mr. Galais, Mr. La Palusa,
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye. We're going back in session. We're going to go back in session.
Bang the hammer, bang the hammer. Start it up.
Andrew.
Okay. 11:28. Are we back or not back? I'm ready.
We're ready. Where's, Sal and Gary? Where'd they go?
Where's my council people? Well, the good news is... The good news is that the guy who owns, the first guy who owns the house on 33rd Street, but lives in Wyckoff.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Oh, yeah. You have garbage?
We're all back? Where's Jay?
All back.
Nothing left to put in the...
We don't need coffee, he's only a lawyer. Motion to reconvene?
Okay.
Motion.
Second.
On the motion to reconvene, Mr. Cotter, Mr. Galais, Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
02, an ordinance entitled Ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, New Jersey, authorizing 5-year tax exemption on the assessed value of new improvements only for newly constructed residential units with respect to
We're
the
moved to
parcel...
carry this, Bob? So you don't
Pardon?
have to bother reading it. We're going to make a motion to carry this.
I got it, we still have to do
Oh,
the
you do?
second reading. Respect to the parcel of land located at 258, Lot 8, AKA 298-304 Broadway, on the tax map of the city of Bayonne, which was introduced and passed the first reading at a meeting held June 30, 2015, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin board as required by law with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of July 22nd, 2015, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. I'm going to ask you to move a resolution that the ordinance be given a second reading. Somebody move it, because Juan's not here. Somebody move the
Yes,
second.
move it, move it.
All right, how about a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. On the resolution of second reading, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
Second reading is by title ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, New Jersey, authorizing 5-year tax exemption on the assessed value of new improvements only for newly constructed residential units with respect to the parcel of land located at Block 258, Lot 8, a.k.a. 298-304 Broadway, on the tax map of the City of Bayonne. Before we get to the hearing, the council president has indicated she wants to move that this be tabled to the next meeting.
Yes, motion to table.
Table to next meeting, a second.
Second.
Mr. Cotter on the second. On the motion, Mr. Cotter, thank you. Mr. Galais?
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
President Nadrowski?
Aye.
Brings us to 03. An ordinance entitled, Ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, New Jersey, approving the application and financial agreement for tax exemption for an urban renewal project with respect to a portion of the Bayonne Military Ocean Terminal located on Block 830, portion of Lot 1, which was introduced and passed a first reading at a meeting held June 17, 2015, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin board as required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of July 22nd, 2015, is now before the council for its consideration in a public hearing. The council president moves a resolution that the ordinance be given a second reading. Mr. Galais, will you second?
Second.
On the resolution of second reading, Mr. Cotter.
Excuse me. Aye.
Okay, Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
President Nadrowski?
Aye.
Okay, second reading by title ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, New Jersey, approving the application and financial agreement for tax exemption for an urban renewal project with respect to a portion of the Bayonne Military Ocean Terminal located on Block 830, portion of Lot 1. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to
recognize
speak.
Aye.
They usually say good evening, good afternoon, and that's how you say good night, I don't know.
Wait a little while, we go
They're all
on.
appropriate right now.
I'm just curious, my name's Mike Masigno, R-U-S-C-I-G-N-O. I'm just curious of where is this?
Mike, address, please.
42B West 23rd Street.
Thanks.
This urban renewal project in regards to,
The base, down the base.
It's on the base.
it's on the base, it wouldn't be that musical tent they're putting up?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is one of the lawsuits that was...
It's part of the settlement of the third
Settlement.
lawsuit.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Matt Kopka, 105 West 8th Street. So, it sounds like there's some sort of new financial agreement and a tax exemption. You're saying this is just a condition as a result of a prior reached settlement?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. And do you know the general magnitude of the financial impact of this tax exemption?
What do you mean by that question?
Well, if they're getting a tax exemption, how much is it?
We haven't collected anything on it in...
What are the terms
10
of the
years.
agreement?
Yeah, some sort of basic understanding, because it just is very broad as written, so it's hard
What are
to...
the terms of the agreement is your question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It's a 30-year tax abatement, which is a percentage of gross revenue, which is 12% for the first 12 years, and then it goes up to 13%.
Okay, and is that for the current improvements and the vacant land, or forward going for vacant land, or which portion, actually,
A pilot or a tax abatement is on the improvements.
on the improvements? Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? No protests against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage have been filed with me. May I have a motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close.
And a second?
Second.
On the motion to close the hearing, Mr. Cotter? Mr. Galais?
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
President Nadrowski?
Aye.
Resolution ordering final passage. Motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
And a second? On the resolution ordering final passage, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
04, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing an easement over the city's right-of-way on West Fifth Street for the purpose of allowing parking and access, which was introduced and passed the first reading at a meeting held June 17, 2015, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin board as required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of July 22, 2015, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. Councilmember Galais moves the resolution that the ordinance be given a second reading. Mr. Cotter, will you second? On the resolution of second reading, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye. And I'm making a motion to table this also. All
All right, well, second reading by title, an ordinance of an easement of city's right-of-way, West Fifth Street, okay. Council President on a motion to table to the next meeting, and a second, please. Second. Thank you. On the motion to table to the August meeting, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
05, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 15, Building and Housing, which was introduced and passed the first reading at a meeting held June 17, 2015, was published in the Jersey Journal, posted on the bulletin board as required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of July 22nd, 2015, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. Councilmember La Palusa moves the resolution that the ordinance be given a second reading. Mr. Galais, will you second?
Second.
On the resolution of second reading, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
Second reading by title, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 15, Building and Housing. Council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. No protests against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage have been filed with me. May I have a motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close. Second.
On the motion to close the hearing, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
Resolution ordering final passage. Motion to adopt.
Move it.
And a second.
Second.
On the resolution ordering final passage, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
06. An ordinance entitled Capital Ordinance providing funding for the improvement of various public recreational facilities in the amount of $1,125,000, which was introduced and passed first reading at a meeting held June 30th, 2015, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin board as required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of June 22nd, 2015, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. May I have a motion to move a resolution of second reading?
Move it.
And a second. On the resolution of second reading, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
Second reading by title, a capital ordinance to provide funding for the improvement of various public recreational facilities in the amount of $1,125,000. It allocates Hudson County Open Space and Green Acres funding to various projects. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. No protests against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage have been filed with me. May I have a motion to close the hearing?
Move it.
Second.
And a second on the motion to close the hearing, Mr. Cotter, Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
Resolution ordering final passage, motion to adopt.
Move it.
And a second. Second, someone. Oh, sorry, didn't hear him. On the motion, I have a resolution ordering final passage, Mr. Cotter, Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski. I'll take that as a yes. 07, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 7, Traffic, which was introduced and passed the first reading at a meeting held June 30, 2015, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin board as required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of July 22nd, 2015, is now before the council for its consideration in a public hearing. Councilmember La Palusa moves a resolution that the ordinance be given a second reading. May I have a second?
Second.
On the motion, resolution rather, of second reading, Mr. Cotter? Aye. Mr. Galais?
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
Mr. Perez? Oh, yeah, he's absent, I forgot. Turn the page, lost the A, and thank you. Second reading is by title, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 7, Traffic, Restricted Parking Zones. Council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. No protests against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage have been filed with me. May I have a motion to close the hearing?
Close it.
And a second.
Second.
On the motion to close the hearing, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
Resolution ordering final passage, motion to adopt.
Motion.
And a second. On the motion, resolution, final passage, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
08th, a refunding bond ordinance providing for payment of amounts owing to others for taxes levied in and by the city of Bayonne in the county of Hudson, appropriating $4,230,000, which is the final number, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $4,230,000 bonds or notes to the city for financing the cost thereof, and a resolution fixing Wednesday, August 19, 2015, at 7 p.m. in the Dorothy Harrington Council Chambers Mitchell Building as the time and place for a public hearing and final passage. May I have a motion to adopt it?
Move it.
And a second. On the resolution of introduction, Mr. Cotter, Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
09, ordinance rather amending and supplementing revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 7, Traffic. A resolution moved by Councilmember La Palusa, fixing Wednesday, August 19, 2015, 7 p.m. in the Dorothy Harrington Council Chambers Municipal Building as a time and place for public hearing and final passage. Mr. Galais, will you second?
Second.
On the resolution of introduction, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
You want to jump ahead to the closed session on the tax appeals?
Yeah.
Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Lloyd has been patient enough. So, let me find it.
To make a motion, right? We have to make a motion to go to closed session.
12, 13. We're jumping ahead to R11, which is a resolution authorizing a closed session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation, specifically tax appeals.
Move it.
Okay, and a second.
Second.
Thank you. At 11:43. On the motion, resolution to go into closed session, Mr. Cotter.
Aye.
Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
Hopefully this won't take too long. We will be back.
You got 12%.
Aye.
Yeah, I got that.
Motion to reconvene?
I make a motion.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
On the motion to reconvene, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
Okay, we did the,
That was R11, right? So,
yeah, we're going to pick, we're at R11, we're going to pick up now R12. A resolution of the City of Bayonne and the County of Hudson, New Jersey, making application to the local finance board pursuant to NJSA 48.2-51 and NJSA 48.3-1 at SEC relating to the refunding bond ordinance introduced at this meeting. May I have a motion to adopt it?
motion.
And a second.
Second.
On the resolution, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
R13, a resolution authorizing settlement of the tax appeals you discussed in the state tax court on the various properties. Motion to adopt,
Move it.
and a second? Second. On the resolution, Mr. Cotter? Aye. Mr. Galais?
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
President Nadrowski?
Aye.
Okay, back to communications consent agenda, C1 through C25, moved by the council as a whole. I'm assuming that there are no comments or questions. On the resolution of the consent agenda, Mr. Cotter? Aye. Mr. Galais?
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
President Nadrowski?
Aye.
Okay. Officers' report consent agenda, OR 1 and OR 2, moved by the council as a whole. On the consent agenda, officers' reports, Mr. Cotter. Aye. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
Consent agenda resolutions, CR1 through CR13, moved by the council as a whole. Any questions on the consent resolutions? On the consent agenda resolutions, then Mr. Cotter. Aye. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
R1, a resolution moved by the council president authorizing the purchase of a 7 wireless camera system for Broadway from Hitachi Data Systems in the amount of $102,685.73, chargeable to the Special Improvement District. May I have a second?
Second.
On the resolution, Mr. Cotter. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
R2, a resolution moved by someone who's not here, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an agreement with DMR Architects to provide professional planning services for the master plan reexamination, an amount not to exceed $50,000, chargeable to the UEZ and CDBG accounts. May I have a motion to adopt it?
Move it.
Mr. Cotter, will you second? Second. On the resolution, Mr. Cotter. Aye. Mr. Galais.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
President Nadrowski.
Aye.
R3, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an interlocal services agreement with the County of Hudson to accept law enforcement grant funding under the 2015 Burn Justice, or JAG, program in the amount of $13,395.